everybody has strong work ethics, then I think that in our community, especially in our community, I think a lot of people, different ethnic groups will look at us differently as well.
I think having a strong work ethic is kind of tied into responsibility. I think they go hand in hand. If I give you a good example, I've got real estate in 5 different cities, and I've got residential property, and a lot of these properties are on Section 8, where the government subsidizes the income. And we'll have these young ladies, they'll come in, they'll bring their boyfriends with them, they live in pretty much for nothing, and then he comes in, he doesn't work, he doesn't provide anything, he doesn't do anything. So not only does he not have a work ethic, he's being irresponsible. So I think that's something we need to, kind of teach our kids, that these two go hand in hand, and that you need that work ethic so you can be responsible to take care of your family or your kids.
I think a strong work ethic would be somewhere we had to get back to where we had to start training. I think a lot of our young people, as young adults, as well as kids, don't truly understand what a strong work ethic is because they haven't even had the experience or haven't been shown how to have a strong work ethic. And what I mean by that is we have to get back to the basics. A lot of times parents right now are handing out things to their kids, and their kids don't know how to work for it. And that's the reason why you look at a lot of crime that's taking place in our neighborhoods right now, because kids want it fast, they want it quick, they want it in a hurry. But if we was to basically train our kids on how to work hard for something, surely they'll appreciate the money that they earn. But these kids right now are not earning the money the proper way, they're earning the fast way, which is leading our kids and a lot of our young adults and males to be incarcerated. But that's the reason why we had to show them what is a strong work ethic. But a lot of people don't know now because everything's been handed down to them. If you hand down to them, the next thing you know, the first time they don't get something they want, they go out to do what? Rob, sell drugs, and do whatever they have to get to do to get what they want. We have to get back to the basics of showing our people a strong work ethic.
The Bible tells us to work while it's day, because when night comes, no man gets to work. First of all, we have to understand what that means. One of the things I see when we think about work while it's day is we're not teaching our children that. I remember as a 12-year-old, we had a program in Nashville called CEDAR.
Yeah.
We're not trying to teach our children how to, at 12 years old, go out and make their own money. I bought my own clothes at 12. Amen. But the problem with working is once we do, I remember my stepdad, I couldn't stand him, but he wanted $30 out of my check. Are we teaching them to work and also learn how to pay bills? You said you're an entrepreneur. Are we teaching 9 and 10-year-olds how to make that lemonade stand, how to make their own money, how to become a landscaper, cutting the grass? Somebody watching that brother down there in his neighborhood, somebody watching him cut that grass, keeping his yard neat. Somebody may have flowers and become a florist because they watch how he keeps his flowers. Somebody might have been in the kitchen watching mama cook and become a baker. Are we teaching that now? We're not teaching that. From the beginning of the Bible, in the book of Genesis, God worked. God worked. He said he made for 6 days he worked. So why is it that now we want to take 2 days off? If God worked 6 days and gave us 1 day of rest, why do we choose to take 1 day of 2 days of rest when God only rested 1 day, or try to teach us how to rest 1 day? So I believe that if we have a work ethic, as the topic was, I believe if we live by example, our everyday life tells our story. If we live by example, when I was in the world and I hustled, there was somebody watching me hustle. So now that I'm on this side, we ought to be able to try to teach our young people how important it is to work, not just with our hands. It's important for these young people to study and make thyself approved. You know, it's important for young people to see that we can work together as one and change people's lives. It's all kinds of ways. This brother has real estate in 5 different cities. It's important that in every one of those cities, he's planting seeds. Work. I believe we just work together and work while it's day. Let me shut up because I am a preacher. I could keep going on. I think I'm the only preacher on the floor.
Yeah, I didn't know everybody was speaking on the same subject, but a work ethic to me it's about teaching these young kids about striving towards something. I mean, not even just to go to McDonald's or go to Burger King, but to also start your own business. You know, and like you were saying, at 11 and 12, I didn't have that in my life, but I knew growing up I wanted to do that with my kids. So, believe it or not, it's a ritual for me. After my kids get to a certain age, they got to start a freeze cup business.
Yeah.
And through that freeze cup business, I allowed them to expand from there. And being honest, it might sound a little silly, but I mean, when my son came home and he was going outside with a bag full of freeze cup inside a grocery bag, I was like, "What are you doing?" He said, "This is delivery, sir." You feel me? So he took it to the next step, and then he even had some friends that like, if you could put half of it this color and freeze another half, you could charge more for it. So now, just to say that, I started him out doing that at the age of 12, and now he's in the Air Force, and he's, you know, got his own. I mean, he's 23 years old, but he probably got more money in the bank than me now. You know what I mean? So you start them out young, then when they get grown, they know where they're going to go with it, or they already have a plan. That's what I think about it.
Amen.
Awesome. Brother Williams, why is it that young people take the easy road, you know, speaking of street life, or things associated with that, instead of trying to seek employment where they can be more productive?
You know, that question right there gets deep. Okay, you know, first of all, I don't blame totally the kids. I think it's wrong for a lot of adults to point the finger at the kids all the time. I get so many people that come to my establishment, they say, "You ain't let them little kids, young folks, don't bring those young folks in." But I'm like, you don't have a nephew, you don't have a niece, you know? I mean, we should all be responsible for the children's actions. When you become an adult and you have children, you're responsible for those kids, you know? And by them taking the easy road, I think we have to take responsibility for that, the adults, you know, because a lot wasn't showed to them, or it wasn't laid out to them enough for them to see something concrete or see something that they feel like is worth traveling. You know, we didn't put a lot of emphasis on, you know, entrepreneurship, you know, and how you can make your own hours and you can do or be whatever you want to be. When you got college institutions that, you know, we go to, and they're designed for you to work with somebody else instead of these college institutions making sure that entrepreneurship is first in our community. You know what I mean? You know, and a lot of that has to do with a lot of these kids, man. You know, just seeing the easy way out. And then let's not forget that we're in an unfair and unjust world. This government has been unjust and unfair to African Americans in this country. So for us to assume that we can go and we can get the opportunities that other ethnic groups are getting, that white folks are getting, it hasn't been like that. It's getting a little better. We live in a city right there that's probably one of the racist cities in the country. This is one of the most biased cities in the country right now. You go downtown, you know, on Saturday night, you see nothing but country music. They don't have no type of balance as far as, man, making sure all the ethnic groups in this city is accommodated. They make it hard for people like me as an entertainer and a promoter to bring entertainment downtown. They make me go through all kind of hoops, and they should really set aside, funds for African Americans, to have different events downtown. And it doesn't happen. So the kids see all this stuff, and they're not dumb, and they know that it's not fair. So when they get opportunities to make money and to have things that they see other people have, TV is terrible. Don't get mad at the rapper. Get mad at the white guy that owns the rapper station. You know what I'm saying? Don't get mad at all this stuff you see on TV, because somebody's behind it all that's making sure that this negative image is being posted. So with all this stuff right here, you can't really just blame this kid that wants to have something, but he doesn't know how to get it. We can't blame him. So, it's not good. I talk to a lot of kids. I try to lead by example now that, I was young too. I felt the same way that young kid you're talking about, fast money. I've been involved in that, so, but now it's different, and God has blessed me, and I am an entrepreneur in the community. I get a lot of kids come and ask me questions about what I do, and I do my best through the grace of God to let them know that if you believe in yourself, you can do whatever you want to do, and you don't have to look over your shoulder to do it. But let's not forget that the world in this country, in this city, is not balanced.
Amen.
Can I comment on that? I think sometimes these kids do what they do because quick money is easy money. And when you're nation building, it takes time. It's a long road up, and it's filled with uncertainties. So they're not prepared because of their lack of discipline to say, hey, if I invest in this now, it's going to pay off 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now. They just want it real quick. So that's why they do some of the things that they decide to do. I remember when I was young, and then I told my wife this, when I was like 22, I scraped up $200, $300, and I bought a pound of weed. And within 3 days, I had made $1,200. All money is not good money.
Yeah.
So then I decided, well, I know how this is going to turn out if I keep going. So I decided to invest in something that was going to last, something that I could give my kids one day, and something that would make an impact on my family for the rest of my life, in their lives, and their children's lives.
No.
All right, so I got a question. Y'all mind if I veer off this paper a little bit?
No, you can go where you want to go.
Somebody, whoever's driving a black Kia, the trunk is open, and we tried to close and go keep popping back up. Okay. But so Pastor Owen, so what approach do you feel the church is missing as far as really trying to reach out to our generation, as far as letting them know the importance of working an honest job, also speaking on those struggles that are going to come, because they do come, especially if like my brother was saying, especially if you hadn't been taught these particular things as far as being responsible, work ethic, and those things. Where do you think the church has lacked that, and how do you feel we can change?
Untouchable. The church people that became untouchable for the outside world. If you take and look at this young lady got 2 young girls in here. Do we talk to them? Do we ask for what they want to be when they grow up? I remember living in Settle Court. There were certain things that I wanted to be. It was either a basketball player, baseball player. Didn't like football because if I wasn't on defense, I wasn't going to get hit. or a dope dealer. Those were we wasn't teaching them to become doctors. I heard you say, we need to stop teaching them just being cashiers and cooks at McDonald's. Why don't we teach them how to own McDonald's?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, instead of, like the brother said, he owns Sensations, a club, restaurant. Now, if they're going to ask him how did he get that, don't just ask them, don't you take him in there and show them, hey, listen, I'm a pastor. But owning a restaurant is no different than owning a club. Because we still got to serve wine in order to get people to come in. If I don't serve wine, I'm being real. I'm not talking about them level 2 restaurants.
Yeah.
I'm talking about where you can come in and sit down in the evening and eat.
Yeah.
So do we serve wine? Me as a businessman, and I am an entrepreneur, me as a businessman, yeah, I'm going to serve that wine and wake up on Sunday and go to church. But what do that mean that I want them to get drunk? I'm quite sure that brother ain't going to. You don't want everybody coming out of your club drunk because they go to jail, they don't want to come back. You know, or some of them die. You know, you want your business to keep running. We're not teaching it. We're not teaching business in the church. You know what? I did this message. Network. What's your network? And one of my questions about network is this right here. Are we teaching you to become entrepreneurs? At my church, I'm teaching them to become entrepreneurs. Why? We teach on tithing. If we teach you to become, if you got 5 cities that you take care of, I'm quite sure that you take care of the church. You know why? Because God is taking care of you. Are we teaching entrepreneurs? Are we teaching them how to plant that seed and how to make that bread? And I mean baking bread, not making bread, because all of that gonna come. So to answer your question, is the church, are we still untouchable? Are we holding classes to where we can teach? If you're gonna hold a conference, let's hold a conference where we can teach these young people how to sew clothes. Back in our days in school, we had wood shop. Do they have it now?
No.
You know, those kind of things. We had auto mechanics. Do they have it now? You know, let us become the next Harold Ford. Let us become the next representative. Let us become those things. But are we teaching them that, or are we just want them to graduate? I don't want that. I want them, the Bible tells us greater things you'll do than I ever did. So if I want this young man or that young man or all these young preachers to come up and be greater pastors than I am, then that means to God be the glory. Are we teaching? Are we touchable to the ones that are untouchable? Now I'll close with this one. Luke 14 is one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible. And in the Bible it tells us that that when you invite people, don't just invite the ones that you know gonna come. Invite the ones that you know ain't gonna come. So go out to the streets and invite those ones that we know ain't coming. Not to come into the church. I could care less if you come to our church now. I've been pastoring for 8 years, and I believe I met my quota when I saved that one soul. Yeah. So now I just want you to come. Come to any church. Listen, I call it out. I come to Sensations and do God's work. Yeah. On Sunday morning, because they close on Sunday. Amen. I come on Sunday morning, and can you imagine telling them that when we come to Sensation on Sunday morning, what that'll do? There's going to be some people, because he's going to announce Saturday night, are we having church on Sunday morning? We're going to stay in there. Yeah. They'll be right there. Come with your breath smelling like it's supposed to smell, because they're coming to the church the same way. Yeah. And this is for the ones who just ain't that bright. I realize the church is just like club. You want to know why? The main hours at the club is 11 to 2. What's the main hours at church?
11 to 2. Come on.
Awesome. Mrs. Sean Holmes. Many have come to a point in their life where they are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And they're ready to be a part of a solution, a change. What do you think would be the first step? Because I know you're somebody who had to embrace that point in your life too, where you had to make that change. What would be that first step?
I think the first step is, I think a lot of times we get the wrong concept of change or a solution. And we bypass the first step, which is we have to realize that there's a problem. A lot of times we don't realize there's a problem. We just go straight to what? Trying to find a solution. Well, that problem could be anything. That problem could be from a child or an adult using drugs, or a child or adult going through some type of thing in their life, which is causing them to act out or turn to a life of crime. But I think that's what it is. We have to identify what the problem is, and then we have to get ourselves some solvers. That is, problem solvers. We got to go out and get people that basically really want to solve the problem, and then we sit down and we'll start talking about how we can solve the problem. Next thing is we'll come with a solution to identify what's going on. But that'd be my first thing, is to make sure that we identify the problem or problems, and not miss it by not one hair that we may still have in our heads. But a lot of times people go past the problem, or want to cover up the problem, or overlook the problem, and think that it's going to go away. But the sad news is it's not going to go away. And as we're seeing that it's beginning to get worse and worse and worse until the found that it's out of control.
Give me an example of a person maybe just going into your life. I think it might really help somebody. What's something that you had to overcome that was like a personal problem that you had to identify with, but God has allowed you to overcome?
Pride. I know a lot of men in here, and some of these women in here can also identify with that we have an issue with pride. You're not going to talk to me that type of way. And now as we become older, we start to see a lot of, let's just use these terms, a lot of young cats that said that you're not my father. You can't tell me what to do. And with that being said, that these kids are like I said, I had to say, out of control. And it's a pride. And when we look at a young man or we look at a young lady that basically had this issue, we see what? We see ourselves in these kids. And a lot of times we don't want to tackle those problems like, man, you know what, that little young dude right there is crazy. But the young dude is not crazy. It's just me or Brother Williams, Father or any other guest on the panel.
That's right.
Brother Clay, slogan of the year is Black Lives Matters. As a community, what can we do to stop the black on black crime, especially as it relates to the violence and murder epidemic?
First of all, we have to realize that because the Black Lives Matter has been a slogan that has been like going on for the last maybe year or so, and for us to want Black Lives Matter, first it has to matter to us as black people.
Amen. Yeah.
And we tend to look to other people or outside. I don't want to say racist because I don't want to make it a race issue, but we look to outside individuals to solve our inside problems.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just feel like that we need to just get out there and get in the community. And I mean, you know, so many people are talking about it, but we honestly have to be about it. That means that if you worried about drugs selling in your neighborhood, I mean, before you call the police, why don't you step out there?
That's right.
Talk to somebody.
That's
Or
right.
call me, call your brothers, call a
Yeah.
couple of your brothers, say, hey man, I need you to come out here with me, man. Not to go out here and fight these brothers, but to go out here and talk to these brothers.
Yeah, we come
You know what I mean? And I think I talked to you, Minister West, about just Black Lives Matter when it matters to you. Basically,
Yeah.
that's what I want to say. I don't want to keep going on, but I just want you to know that Black Lives Matter when it matters to you.
Amen.
As a black person.
Yeah. All right.
Can I add to that real quick? I agree with you. One of our problems is, if you look at the Oriental, they matter to each other. You look at the Muslims, they matter to each other. We are the only race that is so divided that we giving all our money to the other races. All our money to the other races. And we're so divided to where we're scared to go out there on them streets. You know, he was talking, I asked that question about the church. If we really care about Black Lives Matter, then we would go out there in them streets together. Not just your brothers. Call us out. Call the realtors. Call the entrepreneurs out. Call everybody that you know out. Because I believe in my spirit that if we truly matter, then we'll be the biggest gang out there.
Yeah.
Saving our youth. So I agree with you.
Not just saving our youth, also, but we're saving our communities.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the biggest issues right now that we're having is that we're tearing up our own communities. You know, we're tearing up so bad that, you know, we want to move out. And we're running away from it. And that may be another question, though, but we have to start saving our communities. And when we start saving our communities, and then we'll start saving our kids. That was one of the things I said earlier was that if it's not my child that's out committing this crime, I don't care nothing about it. That's the attitude that we're starting having right now. Is that my child is sitting inside the house right now, and she or he is safe. And next thing you know, when that person out there is committing the crime and start to take my child's life, now it's an epidemic or now it's a problem. So now we have to start standing up for our community as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Brother.
Yeah, I got a question to ask the panel, and let me qualify this question by saying, you know, I don't think political office is gender-based, neither is it, you know, race-based. But we live in a political society, we going into a political season, and politicians and people of office set policy. Amen. I'm hearing entrepreneurship, I'm hearing Black Lives Matter, I'm hearing community, but yet and still, we have to put those people in office that share our agenda. Church is good, and the foundation of policies back in P.I.C.C. My question is this: community, Black Lives Matter, church, youth, and all of that has to be gauged by setting policies. And I'm presenting this to the entrepreneur, Mr. Williams, and all of you, as a matter of fact. Why can't the city of Nashville elect a person of color? When you compare Memphis, you compare Atlanta, Georgia, Baltimore, Maryland, all of these cities have the same demographics. But yet, we 20 and 30 years behind these cities because we have yet to elect a person of color. Not saying that person of color is going to change things, but they have the same makeup as we do so that they can set policies that affect change in our community. So my question is, why is a city the size of Nashville, with the NFL team, with black HBCU schools in this community, Bible Belt, American Baptist College, Primitive Baptist, all of these communities right here in the city of Nashville, and yet we cannot elect a man of color or a woman of color in political office of the city?
I'm gonna jump in. Me and Pastor Orr was speaking about this. I guess you want to say, actually, I'm sorry, it was me and Pastor Perkins was at work and was speaking about what you just asked. Reason why we can't do that is because a lot of our black politicians usually jump behind the other politician, not a man or a woman of color that jump in behind, throw all the support behind the other politician or the other color, let's say they throw their support behind the white politician. You seen it before. Thelma Harper and them, they was endorsing who was a Freeman. All of them basically started supporting Freeman over and over. You had Howard Gentry that was running the race as well, and he was already vice mayor before, but all the support went behind a white politician. It's not about color. We don't want to make that out to be what it is, but our people usually throw their support behind them because perks. They get kickbacks on certain things. Let's say if I want to get something built, or if I want to do something, get something going here, I'll throw my support behind this person where the movement's going to go, and not worry about a black politician. So we want to vote, but we'll start to follow our black politicians and say, okay, if Thelma Harper is supporting Freeman, then I'm going to support Freeman because Thelma Harper is supporting them. So it starts with our politicians, our black leaders that we elected for an office. So, but if they're going for a white candidate, that's automatic rule that we're going to follow as well.
I give you a couple of reasons. Baltimore is 65% black. Memphis is 65% black. So they have a big, large black population. So they have a real good chance of getting a black mayor. I think we're around 28-30% black here. And then, like this brother just said, we had a lot of black people endorsing Freeman, and some of those black people was paid staff. So my point is, we're still bought and paid for, a lot of us. If you throw a little bit of money at us, you can get us to go against our own people.
All right.
Because we don't have our own money.
Yeah.
When I heard Stephen A. Smith, and I agree with a lot of things he said, we supposed to present ourselves in a certain way, but he didn't tell the full story. I've worked with a lot of white people that had bad attitudes, that had less education, that didn't present themselves right. They still got promoted. So until we start controlling things and quit begging,
All right.
we're always going to be at the bottom of the totem pole. We got preachers at church that don't want to tell the story because they don't want to offend nobody. Some of them get a little face-based money. And they being controlled by the masses. We're never going to have freedom in this country until we build a strong economic base like the Jews did, like the Asians do. We spending billions of dollars a year buying hair from these people. They doing our nails, then they go home to their great communities, and we in struggling schools in a deteriorating neighborhood.
And we used to own the businesses.
We got to do better than this. We got to do better. And I could go on and on, but I'm going to be brief because I'm just here.
Yeah, that goes to show you how, education, we say that the young kids need to be educated, the adults need to be educated. You know what I'm saying? It's we are the ones that's not educated, and it's just trickling down into our youth. That's why I say it's not their fault. We're responsible for what's going on with these kids out here. We are the blame. We are the blame, bottom line. And God, y'all, okay, I'm gonna try to be as discreet as I can with this situation here, but it's a very good question that you wrote, because individual, I'm gonna just be blunt. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. Freeman and his camp came to me, and they invited me to the Gulch in his condo. It was about 25 of us, and they were, asking for support. Okay, Linda Harper, Thelma Harper's daughter, and all the political people that we put, black African American, that we put in office was up there too. And I heard Freeman, and me and my wife was up there, man, and we was checking it out, man. He got real lavish, man, the whole spam. So, make a long story short, I was supposed to have a meeting with one of his campaign managers, and we was gonna sit down and talk about what it would take for me to back him. Of course, y'all know, read between the lines. You know what I'm saying? So, after I thought about it, I said, man, that's selling out. Because at the end of the day, Howard Gentry was 350 votes shy of being mayor of this city the last time he ran. Who was more qualified? Not just an African American, but who was more qualified than Howard Gentry? Then on top of that, as far as my community, our community, he knows our community more so than any of these other candidates. So for big political figures like who we've been mentioning, for them to not stand by that, and like Brother Holmes was saying, I mean, these people, I'm not gonna pass judgment, I don't know definitely, but a lot of people, man, would take money and proceeds for their own personal gain and sell their community out. So that's it's terrible, but it happens. But we got to stand up, and we got to continue, because If Howard had won, or if Howard, you know, we would have forced Howard. Howard, you can't live in our community, you know what I'm saying, and not do what we need as a community. You can't live here and not do what we, and that's what we need to challenge these leaders here. Thelma, I have to use her as an example. If Thelma's not doing her job, guess what, Thelma? We're going to insist that you do your job. That, you know, we're not going to sit back and let you go 3 or 4 years and not do what you're supposed to do. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of stuff is going on in our community and a lot of stuff is not going on in our community. Because we allow these councilmen and Congress people and representatives, we're not challenging them. We're not making them do what they do what they're supposed to do.
Man, I was hoping to keep it short, but it kept on coming closer to Mike. It kept getting closer to my heart because, you know, like I said, my expertise is experience. And so right now I'm at a point in my life where it's like God ain't pushing me, He's placing me.
Yeah.
And like I'm starting to really lose sleep about the things that's happening in America and in my community. And so I went to the voter suppression meeting that they had, where they was talking about, you know, how they was, you know, getting on these ministers about backing the DA, Flunk. Being Flunk and stuff like that. So they were talking about boycotting Channel 5 News. I don't know if y'all heard about that.
I do.
But I went to that meeting and I met a young lady because I have a TV show that I'm working on. I'm a TV producer. And I was there with my grandson, and it was actually a show that I'm working on with him, and Miss Haywood came up to me and she was like, you know, hey, I see what you're doing with the kids, and I like that, you know, we got to talking. Make a long story short, I ended up backing her for her campaign because Miss Haywood represents everything that my grandmother represented. And nowadays, us as black men, we not looking for those women that represent these old school qualities.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's getting off of the subject a little bit, but I'm just saying what she stands for. She stood for that old time religion type of feeling. You know what I mean? She was a school teacher. She's from the same community. You know, she's not just coming over here because she want the votes and then leaving. So anyway, make a long story short, it's time for the votes. We've been campaigning all this time. We at the polls. Well, like I said, I let God lead me. I mean, maybe not in the traditional way like most ministers and stuff like that, but when He put it on my heart, I have to react.
Yeah.
And so we was right there, and you had Freeman them with the nice tents and all that set up and stuff like that, and you had other people, Clayton them and other people, but it was like, man, I come from a struggle. I remember struggling to be the first one to the car. When this car pulled in the drive and I wanted to make that money, I'm going to be the first one to the car. Because 9 times out of 10, if I show them what I got first, they're going to go on and get it because they ain't caring about all that. They just trying to get it and go. So I took that same concept and used it at the polls. I had these flyers, soon them cars pulled in, I was at the window. Here, this is all the information about the person you're going to vote for. Well, make a long story short, you know, Miss Haywood came and she was like, man, I see you at every car. So she won by over 400 votes. Well, I say she won, but the politics of it, the next day, they said it had to be a runoff. A runoff because whatever, I don't know all the things about politics. I'm still lost on that one, but I know I watched the polls and watched the election, and they declared her the winner. Then they came back to the next. So what I'm trying to say is, using me as an example, what if it was 10 people like me, 20 people like me, 30 people like me, 100 people like me, 1,000 men out there?
Yeah.
See, us as men, we have a presence, and all we want to do is talk about it. So many people got the right words coming out their mouth, but they ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why it's hard for me to keep on listening to the same old. I think Charlie Brown teaches you to sound like it. Womp,
Womp,
womp, womp. You know what I mean? And all I'm saying with that is, I can listen to you all day, but then when it's time to get in the trenches and I look around and I don't see you, I lose respect for you.
There you go.
The question question was politics, right? It wasn't just on the mayor, right? It was, one of the things is we are winning broad-based. We have, he just mentioned one that I got high respect for too, but we have a lot more representatives about our community in politics here in Nashville. The problem is we are being scattered. We keep using that word scattered. Who's coming in and where are we going?
Yeah.
So that there goes our votes, you know, for those certain offices. Now, mayor is a different office, but there goes those votes. With the mayor office, the problem that I saw is lack of knowledge. We talk about voting, but we don't vote. We don't vote. We invite them in as churches. We you know, we can't do the politics. We invite everybody in, but we don't vote. We don't vote. We're not teaching our children. We're not even taking them to the polls to teach them how to vote. To God be the glory. That's what we need to do. But to answer your question is, I see that we're in that round, but we're being scattered. We're not in, if you look, you can go out here today, down this street here alone, and you'll see that they're walking their dogs.
Yeah,
They're walking their dogs.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Yeah, I got a question.
Good.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna go with Pastor what said. Now, do I not voting contribute to us being disenfranchised? That's what I need to know. How does us not voting affect our community and where we're trying to go and where we're trying to be as a people? Not voting.
Since you went there,
Yeah.
I go to those meetings. I go to those meetings in our communities that we don't go to.
Yeah.
And they had a 25-year plan going on 2 years ago. They already planned in 25 years that they're moving deeper in and we're moving further out.
Exactly.
They had this meeting 5 years ago about what's happening right now. So when they start, then when they start doing it, we start saying they're building houses and we can't afford them. Those houses only cost $40,000 to $50,000 that they're stacking up. Where they where they tore your house down and put 2 houses there. If we don't go to them meetings, how is it going to affect us? We need to be willing to go to meetings. At the precincts, at the town hall, wherever they're doing it, we need to show up like they show up.
Yeah.
And we need to show up with questions. You know, the dumbest question is the one that's never asked.
That's right.
You know, we need to show up with them questions. And Minister Haywood, serving Haywood, great. I saw that too, because I congratulated her that night, and then the next day she's in a runout. You know, with the mayor, with our mayor, I agree. He should have been. He was the most qualified to win the mayor office, to win it. He was vice mayor. He's been working in our county clerk. He knew what the city needed, but we didn't vote.
Yeah.
We got scattered.
Yeah.
Again, we got scattered by what? By money or whatever it was. Because Sean Holmes is cool with Freeman. He tell me to vote. Because Freeman giving out barbecue. We go with, because I seen Sean at the barbecue. We go with Freeman. Now, we are scattered, brother. And the Bible tells us we was going to be that way in these days.
Amen.
So I think on that, what you were saying is that everybody need to understand too that when you go to vote, there's other ways of voting. I'm gonna give you a prime example was the school uniforms. I saw school uniforms. A lot of parents complaining about the school uniforms because they didn't know that this was on a bill to be voted on, but no one ever went to the meeting. They couldn't stop it. So now, if you don't go to the meeting, you don't place your vote. Next thing you know, we have school uniforms in place. So it's just not only putting a person into office, But there's other things that you can stop by attending meetings and knowing what's on the ballot. And if we don't vote, like Father or like Pastor Orr said, is that we don't always be scattered. And like I said, the community is going to continue to go down and down because of our lack of knowledge. Same thing with our laws that have been passed. A lot of laws could be stopped by us pretty much just getting together and know what the law is and know what's on the ballot. But if you don't know, then you will always be lost.
Here's my question, and I guess, so, I mean, everybody on the panel, everybody has like a platform. I would call it a platform, but how can, like, what's the solution to us as leaders really using our platform to get accomplished? Because all of you all have somewhat of a level of influence, and so and even speaking on those who we were talking about, the mayor and different things like that. But how can we use that level of influence to really, really, really make a change in these areas where we see we fall short?
I think we got to understand this system that we live in. If you look at this history, we were brought over here for economic gain. We was actually set free for economic gain. If you look at the laws that passed in this country, it's money behind every law that's written, every law that's passed. We're going to always struggle until we build a strong economic base where we can't be bought out by other people, where we can't be controlled. Stephen A. Smith, he has an employer. He is not going to sit up there and he's not going to critique white folks on TV. He's got a good salary. He's not going to jeopardize that. He might have a good salary, but he's not free. I'd rather have less money and be free.
All right.
So you can be a high-paid slave, okay? So until we understand how this country works, should we vote? Yes.
Yeah.
But money still controls lawmaking in this country.
All right.
That's why it was a police officer. They did a study on cracking down on drugs. They told them, a black guy, and he came out, a whistleblower. They told them, do not go into the white communities. If you know anything about statistics in this country, we're not the dope users. We're only like 11, 12% dope users. Who's the other 80-something%? They are, but guess who's in jail?
Yeah,
we are. So they told them, don't go to these white, suburban, affluent neighborhoods. They'll shut us down. They know the judges. They know the people in the courts. Let's go get people who we can pick on that are weak. So prison is a business. So they fill it up with us. And that's because we're powerless. And the reason we're powerless is because we don't have an economic base. The reason we don't have an economic base is because we've been programmed to think a certain way. I got a good friend of mine. He's a preacher. He's a preacher. I got a real estate license. I do sell real estate too. He sold his house, $7,000 commission. Bought a new house, $7,000 commission. Did he call me? No, he called a white guy who took that money right back to his church, right back to his neighborhood, and it wasn't 2 months later. My black preacher, the friend, wanted me to come to his church and make a donation to his kids.
Man.
Who didn't have this and who didn't have that. And you know what? I told him about it. I said, you have a slave mentality in a nice way that you just gave these white folks $14,000. Your kids are struggling at your church and you want me to make a donation to you. That's a slave mentality. The white man water is always cold. And we got to break this mentality. And we got to start practicing group economics. Or we're going to always be in this situation. We can march all you want. You can boycott all. What difference if you boycott one day and you go the next day and you spend double? It just don't make sense. We can boycott all we want. We can march all we want. But until we get like the Koch brothers, are y'all familiar with the Koch brothers? Until we get like these people who buy politicians, That's how you get laws passed in this country. So we can beg all we want. We can appeal to their moral conscience. They don't have one. They don't have one. You got to hit them where it hurts. And I'm not talking about boycott. Our kids are here acting a fool because we haven't provided a future for our kids. Why come I can't employ our kids? I teach my kids, we got 4 kids. I teach them about entrepreneurship every day. My daughter, she bought a little small business because she getting in the daycare facility. She saw a business, $200,000. She said, Daddy, I think I can make this work, but I can't do it. I can't do it. She's only 25 years old. I went and bought the bill. She's got it now. So we got to do more than talk. Do I know if it's going to work? No, I don't know. But we're going to give it a shot. We're going to give it a shot. Black folks are scary.
That's right.
We got to stop being so scary.
Yeah.
That it ain't going to work and somebody's going to talk about us. But we'll run out here and get a $700 car note on a Benz and try to impress somebody and then wonder why we can't save no money to start a business. Wonder why we live close to the edge and then we can't take a risk because we're going to fall off. All we do is consume, and we buying all the wrong things, thinking that's going to make us happy. I don't chase money. I told my wife, I'm chasing freedom. I'm chasing freedom, not money. And then we pile up in church every Sunday, screaming and shouting, talking like we know God, and don't do nothing that He tells us to do. We're the same old person Saturday, Monday as we were on Saturday. Ain't nothing changed, but we had a good time. Preacher put on a good show. We jumped up and clapped our hands and we danced a little bit.
Yeah.
But we still the same old Joe we was Saturday night. Ain't nothing changed. God wants us to have an abundant life. He don't want to see us struggling and poor and ragged all the time. I don't want another master in my life
That's right.
that's going to pay me to say what benefits him. Somebody told me one time, well, man, you post some stuff on Facebook, man. I don't know if I can do that. I said, you ain't free. You scared. You scared somebody at your job gonna see you.
All right.
And your boss gonna get you.
Yeah.
I ain't got a boss. I ain't worried about nobody getting me. Can't fire me. That's all I got to say.
Amen. All right.
So with this panel, it's an awesome panel. I just want to challenge you all to let's take this and move forward with it. Because I believe God has placed you all here not just for recording purposes, not for us out here, but to actually make that change.
Yeah.
All of y'all hearts are burning. There's a desire to see change. And so I say, let's move this forward.
Yeah.
Get connected, exchange numbers. Let's come together and do it again, and let's make some action behind it. Yeah. I'm a young man. I'm 29. You know what I'm saying? But I know I don't know it all. I'm smart enough to know that I don't know it all. But I would love to be behind some leaders that are in the community. My father, he's living, but he's in a wheelchair, and I don't really have I go and visit him. But I would love to just follow and receive good teaching because our hood ain't getting this.
Yeah, right.
They're crying out, but they need some people who know and that can teach, and they'll listen. They'll listen. They might not want to be preached to, so that puts me out of business. But they'll listen if they see common people, different backgrounds coming together and taking a stand and having conversations like this. They'll come in and ask questions. And so I say, let's just take it further and use all of our resources that we have, whether it be operating the church, whether it be entrepreneurship, whatever you all have to offer. Let's come together, put it together, and whatever God puts on our heart, let's move forward with it. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Any other questions?